Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we're talking with Abby J. Hall. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, like you said, it's a nice day outside, so I'm assuming so it's you know nice enough to have a nice conversation with someone.
Yeah, I'm so excited for summer. I
Mhm.
really like parts of winter, but whenever summer comes, I'm like, okay, yay, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, exactly. I like I'm a pale guy, so I burn. So I like summer to certain
Mm.
extents. If I'm in the shade, it's not that, but the fact of being outside is
Fair.
good. But yeah. So we're here today to talk about you, about your music, and about what you bring to the world. But for those who are new, can you give a little introduction about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Abby. I've been writing music since I was 11, and it's been a big passion of mine ever since. And currently, I'm releasing an EP later this year. So I've been releasing single by single until then. And I'm really excited about everything coming out into the world.
No, I listened to some of your music, and I think it's going to be real fun with the full EP at the end of everything.
Oh, yay. I'm glad.
hmm So I guess the first question is, how did you get started in music? Did you have a musical family, or anything spark your interest that way?
Yeah, so I would say when I was really young, we grew up homeschooled, me and my siblings, and we always had either Michael Bublé, Whitney Houston, or the soundtrack to Les Mis playing. So it was really different
Mhm.
mix of genres. But my dad taught me how to play guitar when I was 13. And then I got a little voice recorder to put like different song ideas into. And I wasn't allowed a phone until I was 16. So
Oh,
I used this like little recorder for a lot of years. And then after high school, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and try to pursue this as a career. And I have loved it so far.
mhm. So with that kind of diverse interest playing around the house, what was the first album you ever bought yourself?
The first album I think I was given was a Michael Bublé album. And then the first album I think I bought for myself was probably Taylor Swift, 'cause I was a huge Swiftie, still am.
I mean, yeah, she's that iconic name, so
Yeah, and killing it right now too.
mhm. So, what do you think makes your music unique compared to others right now?
I would say my music has a lot of introspection in it
Okay.
and usually tries to give some sort of positive message within the song. I feel like it's a blend of singer-songwriter, folk, and pop, indie pop,
Mhm. Yeah, no,
but
I'm
ins
listening to some of it. It has definitely a lot of those aspects for sure. Who would you say influences your sound the most right now?
ooh, probably Lizzie McAlpine.
Okay.
Um, or like Julia Michaels, Griff as well. I love those artists right now, and Taylor Swift.
I mean, yeah, Taylor Swift for sure. Now you've got a lot of accolades under your belt in a fairly short time. You've had I think 100K streams, I think is hit recently. You had TV shows, you had big names that you're opening for. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's been a cool experience to kind of go out and just try and put yourself out there and see what happens. Um, I feel really grateful to be on this journey, and it is a journey. There's lots of ups and lots of downs, and I think I always come back to the writing and the music and the why I'm doing it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm very thankful for everything that's come along and hopefully much more coming too.
Well, you do have, I believe, a single coming out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
What's the story behind that one?
So the song is called Sweet, and I started writing it after I met this guy that seemed, really good on paper. Um, but I really like the concept of when someone asks you, "Oh, like, how do you feel about this person?" And you respond, "Oh, they're sweet."
Mm,
It can mean either like a really like a compliment or it can also mean like, "Oh, they're sweet." And I just like that concept of like both meanings.
hmm.
And so I sat down to write the song on guitar and I initially went in thinking it was going to be like really like kind of a light vibe, but it got a lot deeper as I kept writing.
Mhm.
And yeah, I feel like it's one of I call it like a soul song of mine because I just connect a lot to the lyrics, and it was produced by Tal Weisman, and I'm so excited for it to be out in the world finally.
No, I'm excited too. It's gonna be a pretty good one, I think.
Yay.
What is your process like when you're putting together music? Like you have the singer-songwriter feel to things. So how do you go about putting your stuff together?
Yeah, I usually like to try to find a melody first, or I'll have the concept in my head, and then a melody usually will come to me based on like how that's feeling, the vibe, and then lyrics usually will come after. Unless the line comes to my head, then I'll just quickly jot it down. Or if I'm co-writing, then that would also look different based on what that other writer is bringing to the table.
hmm What's your favorite part of the whole process? You have writing, you have producing, you have live performance. What's the one that sparks you the most?
Probably writing, and then in studio when it's all coming together and the producer adds, like, their own flavor to it, because I just love that about music, how you have this, like, really bare-boned idea in your head, and then you bring it to someone else and they get your concept, but then also add so much to the song that it just builds from there, and then the final product is just so yeah, it's a really full circle process, which is cool to be a part of.
Yeah, that's the true songwriter vibe there, having that from the start part to get everything.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now, this is a deeper question, and I'm curious what you think your how do you think your music has evolved if we go back to 2018's Never Leave to now?
Yeah, oh, I hope you know what? I hope it keeps getting better. I always feel weird speaking on this because I'm like, "Oh, like, I think my writing's so much better now," but then someone else might be like, "I don't think so, girl." So, but I'm hoping to be evolving, like, with the different people I've been working with and yeah, maybe more mature elements, themes.
Mhm. Well, and that kinda leads me to my second point is how do you think you personally have grown with your music?
Hmm. I think yeah, I feel like it's just I think what's cool too is by listening to different artists along the way and like who is influencing you at different times. And I think I've grown probably by just like listening to myself more. I think when I was younger, I felt like I needed maybe more influence in what different recording ideas or what I was just kind of more concerned about what other people would think instead of just going for like what I wanted in my music. So I think I'm evolving that way and just like listening to my own voice more.
A little bit more confidence?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a true accolade of someone who is growing because you feel more
Mm.
confident in your music and
Mhm.
you're still newish to the industry, so you're getting, a lot more experience and all that stuff. So this one is a fun one. What do you do to stay grounded outside of music?
Ooh, a lot of walks, nature walks, hanging out with friends and my family. I definitely have an extroverted side, but I'm definitely an introvert in terms of just like needing time to myself. And
Mhm.
that's also what I feel like when I am writing is like a nice I like to be by myself and just like quiet. So I would feel so, but probably yeah, a lot of walking.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have the same thing, like, I'm very extroverted in the sense of,
Mm,
okay, I can go out and do a lot of things, but if I get
yeah.
time to be with absolutely nobody for a few minutes, I'm loving that the most.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know I kind of felt bad that at parts of COVID I was low key thriving in times because I was like, yeah, you know, what, I can stay home.
My mental health was never better. I would
Wow.
relax and just not do much. Like, I work from home all the time, so I didn't have to do
Mm,
much anyways. There was no real change to me, and honestly, not seeing people sometimes was so just cathartic, just sitting back and putting my feet up for a bit.
mm.
Yeah, it's a fun one that way. So I do ask a couple fun questions with all my interviews and, see what makes you tick a little bit more. And the first one is something on your go-to playlist that people wouldn't expect you listen to,
Ooh.
like a guilty pleasure song almost. You could pull up your playlist.
Honestly?
So
Pull up the playlist.
yeah, if you need
Right
to,
now, I feel
yeah.
like I don't have, like, any crazy I'm listening to Espresso a lot, but that's not, like, guilty pleasure, that's just, like, a bop.
Mhm.
And probably, like, musical theater songs, like
Okay.
Phantom of the Opera.
I mean, those
I
are
love all that stuff.
yeah, everyone has something that people wouldn't expect. Like, if you look at me, I'm a big tattooed guy, and I have things like High School Musical on one of my playlists
Yes,
just
I
because
love that.
it has some great tunes, and I
Yeah,
can
High School Musical is, like they're bops. They
yeah,
really are.
they as much as people don't appreciate it, they wrote some really great songs, and, they picked 2 people to sing most of those properly, like, it was a good one for sure.
I love that. That's so great.
Mhm. I can also go, like, front to back with Nicki Minaj if I need to and just have a fun time
Mm,
with that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that energy flow.
I honestly I love that about Spotify is because I feel like I talk about this a lot, but no one person listens now, I feel like, more than ever to just one genre. Like,
Mhm.
we can just make our own playlists and add what we're feeling in the moment, and there's so much, like, crossover right now too, which is really cool to see.
What's your favorite part of the crossover genre now? You have things like country rock and, even country
Yeah.
hip hop, like, there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, well, I feel like a few years ago, there was a lot of pressure to, like, find your lane, and which I think is great. I do think it's good to focus on what you like and what you like to write. But because we are such diverse beings in general, I think the freedom to experiment and crossover is a really unique experience to the artist because I don't think we are ever just one thing.
And who says you can't have, like, a three-lane highway that you're doing different things with?
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally. Well, and that's why I feel like a lot of writers, they do write, they'll write for TV and film and then they'll write for another artist or and you don't see the behind the scenes all the time of really all the different work that they are
Mhm.
working on.
How different is it writing for something like a TV film versus, like, an artist? Like, how do you think that really differs?
Yeah, I think that there's more of I guess, like, if you're working as for, like, a client, you'll sometimes read off of a script and have more of a deadline and what the song kind of should be about, more
Mhm.
than just writing for yourself where there's, like, a lot of freedom there
Yeah,
and not so much
mechanic
no deadlines really, but, yeah, I really love working in both, and I hope to do a lot more TV and film too.
it's definitely an interesting way that you can get more of your stuff out there because
Yeah.
I hear a song on TV one day and be like, "Oh, what is that?" and look it up, and then it just explodes into your whole catalog, and everyone can get that much more like a feel of what you are as a musician.
Yeah, totally, and I think because I just love, like, the combination of film and music too,
Mhm.
I just yeah, it really excites me to have a career there as well.
And there's some amazing composers out there doing things with movies. Like,
Yeah.
one of my favorites is John Williams. He does all the big stuff for, like, Jurassic Park and all kind
Mm.
just those things, listening to them is such a unique soundscape that you're putting yourself into.
Totally, or even, like, trailers for movies, like, when you watch them, if it's, like, a scary or a horror film,
Hmm.
if you didn't have that soundtrack, it would just be so different seeing the images go by. So,
Have you
yeah, it's
ever
super
watched, like, a horror trailer and, like, turned the sound off and just kinda waited to see what happened?
I've never turned the sound off, no, that's a great idea.
You should, it's actually really interesting 'cause you watch
Huh.
almost looks boring for a second because it's just someone might be running through the woods, and you're like, "Oh, okay,
That's
who's
not
coming out
scary.
now?" And then also you hear that sound if you would have it on, it's like, "Oh, wait a minute," and
Hmm.
yeah, it's a fun thing to do to kinda see if you can pick things
I'm
out.
gonna do that now, that's so cool.
Mhm. Another fun question for you then is, what would be your dream late night show to perform on? Like Jimmy Fallon, things like that.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, probably Kelly Clarkson would also be really unique.
But if you had to pick one.
You know what? I'm kinda sad. It was gonna be James Corden, but he's
Mm,
gone, so I would say James Fallon.
yeah. Yeah, Corden would have been really good because of the musicality, but I think Fallon's definitely a good step up for everyone else, really.
Oh, yeah, it would be such a dream. That would be crazy.
Mm. Yeah, I've always thought it'd be interesting to see what people think about some of those late night hosts. And there was one interview I did where I can't remember who it was, but it was a diehard one person. And I'm like, why? Because everyone else sucks. They're like, no, I just really want this one.
Hmm.
It's fun. Now, this one is a more introspective question and probably the my favorite out of the bunch. What's one thing you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Ooh,
It's the hardest one that I
maybe like your favorite food.
okay.
I don't know. I'm a big foodie, but I would have to think on that one a bit more. It's a good question.
It's interesting because it really makes you think about if you're listening to an interview, what do you want to know about someone?
Hmm. Yeah, I think I always like to know more about like personality,
Mhm.
probably traits about people. So maybe something along the lines of that, but I'd have to think a bit more on it.
Well, you'll think about it. You can send me a message and we can add that to
Probably. I'll like think about it and then I'd be like, oh, I should have said this.
like 20 minutes after this is done. That's what I've actually had a few people do that and like message me on Instagram.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. It's fun that way. Speaking of food, then, well, this is I toss this one in sometimes. It's the great debate question. I-
Hmm.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I don't think so.
Why?
It's just like a classic hot dog.
But what constitutes it not being a sandwich? Like what's
Like the two bread not being connected.
but
It's
if
like
you look at
two
a
loaves.
Subway sandwich though, it's the same idea.
So you think it is?
I think it's classified as its own thing uniquely, but
Okay.
interesting to listen to other people's thoughts behind it.
Yeah, I've always thought of it as just like a hot dog because the hot dog bun is just so classic and its own
Hmm.
unique. For sandwich, I just think of two slices of bread.
Yeah, it's fun because some people are so hard fast about no, this is definitely a sandwich or definitely not, and some people are like I just don't know. And
I think like if someone was said, "Hey, like let's go get sandwiches," or like let's make sandwiches together, and I showed up and there were hot dogs, I'd be really thrown off.
yeah, I guess that makes.
Like these are hot dogs.
Mhm. Yeah, actually, I didn't even think about it that way. If you look at sandwich, you think of anything but a hot dog, really.
Yeah, like if you went to a sandwich party and it's like make your own sandwich, I feel like it would just be weird if everyone brought hot dogs.
But that'd be fun to do that to throw
It
people.
would be fun.
Now that I'm thinking
I'd be
about
down.
it, yeah, yeah, actually, I might do that now. I got some friends I can invite over.
I love it.
Now, couple important questions, and more back to the music aspect of things is what do you hope people take away from your music?
Hmm. I hope that people feel less alone while listening and that whether it's a lyric or just a concept of a song makes them feel heard and that they can just kind of make the song their own.
Okay. What would you be doing if you weren't able to do music?
Hmm. I think Broadway would be really fun, but it's still kind of music related.
Yeah, but it's
Or I've
different than a musician, I guess, in a sense.
yeah. Or something maybe like in biology because I love nature and learning about random life facts.
Did you know that hippos have pink milk?
No. What?
Yeah. And
That's crazy.
another fun one I knew, now that I can't even think about it. I had some random knowledge facts like that pop up one time, and I was mind blown by some of them. Like there's pink dolphins um in Africa somewhere, I'm pretty sure.
I did know that one, but I
Yeah.
didn't know about the pink milk. That's wild.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's nature is crazy sometimes.
Yeah, there's so much to it, and even, like, space is wild. Sometimes it's just like, "Wow, we're just on a floating rock."
Yeah, exactly. What motivates you to keep walking down this musical path of yours?
Hmm. I think anything worth having in life is gonna be a challenge, and I think any whether it's a good job or something that you love to do, and I just feel like music is a place that gives me so much joy and life that I would I just want to keep walking on the road because it just gives me so much happiness, and life's too short to be spending it elsewhere.
Mhm. And last question I have then is, are you happy?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that
am happy, yeah.
it's always a lot of people have that sets them back when I say that because then you have to be like, wait a minute, am I happy? And
I think there's so much pressure nowadays too when you, like, go online and there's a lot of comparison, I feel like, in
Mhm.
terms of, and it's so easy, like, for me too to get up caught up in, "Oh, but I'm not here yet." And my dad actually, he said to me recently, he's like, "When you're faced with something, just say, 'I get to do this.'" And
Yeah,
it kind of flips it around a little bit, like, and yeah, so I've been saying that to myself now recently, like, "You know what? I get to do this. I
it's
get to go on this interview with you," you know? It's super, yeah, I'm just thankful to be walking the journey.
yep. And I mean, everyone has a journey, and
Yeah.
it's always a journey to keep happiness alive, really.
Mhm.
Well, that's all the fun points I have written down. Is there any final words of wisdom you'd like to leave to people?
Ooh, follow your heart. You
Okay.
got this. Believe in yourself. Those are really cheesy, but they're true.
Honestly, though, people need to hear that sometimes. The world goes through a lot of things and
Yeah.
has their own struggles, but those little tidbits of wisdom always help.
Yeah, kindness goes a long way.
Mhm. So we have your single coming out tomorrow. We have EP later this year. What else is on the books for this summer?
Well, I'm playing the Sound of Music Festival in Burlington on June 16th, which I'm really excited to be playing, and Jim Cuddy is actually playing that evening too, so I'm excited to see his set as well. So come out to the show if you want
And
to.
that's your hometown festival, right?
Yeah.
So that's got to be pretty like you've been going to that for a while, I assume, and this is like a dream one for you.
Yeah, it's been so fun. I've played, like, some before, but I haven't played it, like, since COVID.
Okay.
So it feels really cool to be back and just in my hometown city and to see all the other artists come out as well. It's just such a fun festival by the lake too. It's so beautiful.
I'm based in Ottawa and I've heard of it, but I haven't actually been out to check that one out. And it sounds like
Yeah, you should come out. That'd be so cool.
actually, yeah, if I have the time, because I'm traveling for festivals a lot this year. So if I have the time,
Oh, cool.
that- that's actually one of the things I do the most is I'm a photographer too. So I go out and cover live events.
Wow, no way. What are your favorite festivals to go to?
Probably my biggest one is Boots and Hearts because it's such a
Mm,
massive country festival, and like last year they had Nickelback, things like that. So it was kind of that real meshed genre blending thing again.
that's so fun. I've never actually been to Boots and Hearts. Every year I'm like, "Oh, I should go," and then I haven't gotten to it yet, but that'd
It's an
be so cool.
experience for sure because in Ottawa we have Blues Fest and City Folk, so there's like 10 days for Blues Fest of just straight music, but it's local. So it's easy enough to get back and forth, but when you're going to Boots and Hearts, you gotta do the camping or whatever. It's a
Mm,
it's a whole different atmosphere and it's wild. And I think every year I've been, the one of the headliner nights, we get rained out and almost have to cancel that. It's like this
wow,
curse that happens every time.
that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't Shania Twain play recently too?
Not yeah, the year before last.
Okay.
She got almost rained out for her show actually. It was a thunderstorm just rolled in and everyone had to secure in tents and things like that. Just
Oh,
and it was literally just her show. Like the opener finished, thunderstorm came in. Yeah.
no.
But she
Oh,
ended up going
man.
on, so we were about 20 minutes late, but she went on. It was a killer show, and I got some cool.
That's amazing. That's so iconic.
Mhm. Yeah, it's fun. There's lots of fun things out there. So if you get the chance, for sure, head out to Boots and have some fun.
Okay. Sounds good, and I'll listen to the horror movies on
Yeah.
silent.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I was doing that with my wife, and it was interesting to watch just kind of how things look. And you're like, wait a minute, what
Mm.
here? But yeah, yeah, I had a great time getting to learn more about you and see what makes you tick. And I hope we get to do this again at some point.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much for having me, Tom.
Mhm. You enjoy the rest of your day. Like you said, it's a lovely day outside. I'll probably have to get outside at some point and see that.
Yes.
We'll stay in touch for sure. And if you have anything you want shared on our end, let us know.
Okay, amazing. Thanks so much.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks so
You
much,
too.
Tom. Have a great weekend or long weekend, I guess.
Is it a long
Oh,
weekend?
yeah.
Yes, May 2 for a weekend.
I forgot. That's crazy.
Oh, okay, that sounds fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me because I did not know.
I know I got our like out of office like reminder email. I'm like, amazing.
That gives me some ideas of what I have to do now. All right, guys, have a good one.
You
Okay,
too.
see you.
Bye.